Well, I want to welcome everyone to At Home with Glenda today. It's been a warm day, very nice outside. It has been up to 77 degrees. Today I'm in the kitchen though. Tomorrow we have a short trip planned, and I wanted to take some dessert to where I'm going. So anyway, this is an old and favorite recipes of the Dutch Fork. This is a Little Mountain Reunion Association cookbook. It is a very old cookbook. Let's see. Little Mountain Reunion, Volume 1, 1978. If that tells you how old this recipe book is. I have had it for many years. Well, since 78, because I went to the Little Mountain Reunion. And being the first one, then I got it there. As you can see, the recipe book is stained. That's from use. Now, the recipe I'm going to be using is my favorite pound cake recipe. Here it is. If you want to stop the video and take note, this is what Robert calls my secret weapon cake. Years ago, probably 25 years ago, I made cakes and sold them. I've even made wedding cakes over the years, and I always made my cakes from scratch. Now, this recipe I have taken and I have put on an index card in my recipe book, so it's not as though I pull this out every time. Used to, I had made the cake so many times I had it memorized. Not any longer. I do still cook from scratch, but not as often as I used to. Again, like I say, I will be making this recipe today for the pound cake. I like the chocolate pound cake also. To me, it's a very good recipe if you like chocolate, but in a pound cake. As you can see on the recipe, I have substituted the butternut with vanilla flavoring. I just kind of prefer that. You can probably even substitute lemon if you so choose. I prefer a sweeter type pound cake, but since it does call for 2 sticks of margarine, I just like the vanilla. Now, what we're going to do is go ahead and get started on the recipe, and we'll go from there. I'll have you back in a little bit. We're fixing to get started on the cake. It is a pound cake. I will make an intro to this. I haven't yet. But first we got to put in 2 sticks of butter. That has been sitting on the counter, softening. And let's get this one undone. Then I've got to measure out a 1/2 cup of Crisco. This time I am using the Crisco that's in the sticks. I'm not fond of those, but for convenience sake, I have some on hand, and I am opening this. And yes, I've checked the expiration date, because like it or not, even Crisco will, over a period of time, turn rancid. Get a knife to cut this with. And we don't just, well, this cake's going to, let's see, 1/2 cup. Tomorrow, Robert and I are going to take a short little trip up to where he was born and raised, where our children were born and raised at too, in the area. And so I want to make sure we're taking some to this cake to an aunt of his. Matter of fact, she's the only aunt, only surviving member of his family other than cousins. He does still have several cousins that are still alive. I think some of them have passed, but not many of them. So anyway, we're going to go see his aunt, and I want to take her some of this pound cake. Now, that was 2 sticks of butter, 1/2 cup of Crisco, 3 cups of sugar, and I have a special friend that really likes purple. a lot more than I do. Some people know I like purple. And years ago, I ran across a canister set, purple canister set. So look, if you happen to watch my video, and you know who you are, if you like a purple canister set, let me know. If I can locate it, I've got an extra one that I think my kids would be glad that I would get rid of so that they wouldn't have to dispose of it themselves. But yeah, it's a 3 set. Let me make sure the video's still going. I think it is. Yes, it is. But it's a 3 set canister set. And so, if you would like it, let me know. We got one. I'm going to pause you and then come back because I don't want you to have to listen to the mixing of the mixer. So I'll be right back when it gets mixed. All right, we're back. I've mixed up the sugar, the Crisco, and the butter, and I've scraped it down from the sides. This, like I say, takes just a little bit, but not much. And for somewhat, you ladies, if you do from scratch, you know that it takes. Now this also calls for 5 eggs. I just break them in. These are store-bought, freshly store-bought, so hopefully there's nothing wrong with any of them. If there were, and I know you're supposed to do them one by one, I don't. Or dump them in a bowl. I do sometimes. It's according to if I have fresh eggs. Our children used to have chickens and they would bring me fresh eggs. I always dump them into a small bowl and would determine if they were good or bad. Most of the time they were good. So, but occasionally you would run across one that might not be quite as fresh as you would like or something. So this is 5 eggs, and as you can see, I just dumped them all in. I'm going to get those mixed up, and I'll bring you back. So you see it is a little loud, so let me get those mixed up and I'll bring you right back. Now as you can see, it is mixing and it is fluffy. That's what you want to see when you do it, is mix it up a cake. It is fluffy. Now I'm going to shut this off because it is a little loud, and I don't think you all want to listen to that. Some of you, doesn't matter. But now we've got to start adding flour. It does say 3 cups of flour measured before sifting. So I put it in my measuring cup. Now I have my old sifter. I will cut this on low, so you'll just have to excuse the noise. And I sift in as it goes around. Therefore, it is mixing the flour as I sift it in. That's my second cup. That's just how I do it. I know some recipes say alternate flour and milk, and I know that's what you're supposed to do. But I make it quick and easy for me. That's what counts. Okay, so that's 2 cups. Now as it's turning, I like to scrape the sides, kind of so it will get it all in, mixed in. It's getting a little stiff right now. And you beat it, anyway. Let me cut you off and I'll be right, no, let me cut it off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is pour out my milk I've got to measure my other cup of flour because I'm one of those, I don't use any more utensils than I absolutely have to. Because guess who's got to wash them? Yeah, me. Well, anyway, let's just put it this way. I usually load them as much as I can in the dishwasher. I will say, this mixer is an old mixer. I was lucky enough to get it several years back. I have it, and then I have the one that was my original one that I purchased. And I would, like anybody else, I'd love to have a great big old nice KitchenAid mixer, you know, all with the bells and whistles. That's all right with me. The two that I have still work. Why go spend money on something when I already have two that work? So I keep the ones I got. I will say that this is a Pampered Chef spatula. I don't know if you can see the Pampered Chef on it. I'm not sure where the camera is. But I have a friend. She's not new. I've known her for several years now. But she just recently started being a consultant for Pampered Chef. So if any of you decide that you would like to have some Pampered Chef, let me know. I can get you in touch with her. That's just a plug for you, Amber. So now I do use Pampered Chef and Tupperware, Rubbermaid. You know, I got it, probably a little bit all of it. I don't buy anything new anymore if I can help it. Because it's kind of like, if it's not in my kitchen by now, it's not going to be. So I have poured out 1 cup of milk, which is what is needed. Now I'm going to slowly start mixing it in and pouring with the mixer on. Start pouring it in so it can mix. I'm going to do about half of it. I'll bring you back once this is mixed good. Alright, my camera cut off. I'm not sure what happened, what caused it. But right now I'm going to show you how I do the cake pan. I'm kind of flustered right now because of the camera. But I'll just take me some Crisco. I know this is the old-fashioned way, but it gives to me gives the best results. Just rub everything down. This is an aluminum tube pan. Like I said, just give a generous rub to everything. Not globs, I know. Just make sure you get down into the crack. You gentlemen, if you watch it, you're probably not going to be interested in all this. But used to, you'd use just you use your hand. But nowadays, like, what woman really wants it in her nails? Self included. So then I'll take that glove off. Get me a little bit of flour in my sifter. Take it and just kind of sift it all around generously. Well, I'm getting flour everywhere, but that's okay. A lot of people use the spray flour. You know, I do. It's according to how. So I just kind of roll it, and I know that's hard for me to do and you to see backwards. But I kind of roll it around in there, making sure everything gets covered. Pat it good. I'll take the excess flour and dump that out. Then you see it's a generous coating of flour all around in the cake pan. I think where the camera cut off last, I was adding the last cup of flour along with the teaspoon of baking powder I put in. Let me check and see if you're filming, because I don't want you to cut off again on me or the film to cut off. It says it's filming anyway. But yeah, I used the baking powder. It says a scant. That's a little more than a teaspoon. I put in 2 teaspoons of my homemade vanilla extract. The recipe does call for butternut, but I just choose to use vanilla. And I mixed that all in. And the mixer ran for a little period of time. While it did that, I would fold it in, making sure everything from the top got worked back down into the bottom. So it has mixed a good bit. So I'm going to cut it off. Let me see about trying to get some of that off those beaters. I know this is always dangerous. Not dangerous as in dangerous, but as in you'll get cake batter flung everywhere. So I just kind of slowly raise it up until it's out of the cake batter. The beaters then are relatively clean, maybe not completely, but enough that they can be wiped off later. So then I will just take the batter. Oh, and by the way, I do have my oven heating at 350. My other half has came in from work, and he generously cut it on for me while he was standing there at the oven. So I just kind of put this batter all around in the cake pan. Let's see. Kind of spreading it around as we go. Now I will continue to scrape this bowl a little better and put this in the oven. It has to bake at 350. At 350 for an hour and a half. With a tube pan, I will go for an hour and 15 minutes, and then I'll check it. A lot of times that your baking time is determined by the heat of your oven. So, like I say, I will clean the beaters and the bowl a little better, and I'll get this in the oven. So I'll be right back and show you what the cake results look like once it's been baked. Well, you can see the cake's done. It's out of the oven. I did wind up and cook it for about an hour and a half because I just wanted to make sure it was good and done. It's been a little while since I've made a pound cake like this. What I'm going to do now is let it sit here and cool for a little bit on a rack, and then I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes, something like that, to dump it out, and we'll see what it looks like. In the meantime, I cleaned up my mixer and the bowl. I do not put this bowl in the dishwasher. I have had some bad experiences. You can see with this one, this pan, it used to be a little shinier than what it is. A lot of it has to do with the water in where you're at. This pan was fine until I moved away from the country where we had well water, and I went into the city, used dishwasher, put this in the dishwasher, and you can see what it looks like now, and it will not come off. Again, it is aluminum, and I understand that, but I'm not taking a chance. There's some things I won't take a chance with and put in a dishwasher. So my mixer's been wiped down, bowl's been washed, it's ready to put back in storage, and we'll come back when the cake is ready to dump out. Alright, let's go ahead and get this cake out of the pan, see what it looks like, see if I can get it out. It's still a little warm. Now I will take it out and I will let it cool. Let's flip this thing over. Oh yeah, I felt it fall right out. It's awesome. Wow, look at that. Looks great. It should eat well. There's a little dent in the pan, which causes that to come up. That looks good. I wish you had smell-o-vision, because this smells wonderful. Now, once this cake cools, I'm going to put it in my cake plate. I had a friend make this for me for my birthday, and I dearly love it. It flips here, closes. It's a handy travel. I don't know where she got the cake plate, but she knows I kind of like, I'm partial to purple. I don't wear very much and don't have very much, but that's fine with me. And she put her name on it. So anyway, once this cake cools, I will put it in there, but wouldn't want to do it now. The cover will sweat, and I want to give this plenty of time to cool, so it will be edible tomorrow. We will be making a trip to where Robert's home place. There's a house, his aunt lives right across where Robert grew up, and we're going to go visit her tomorrow. And then we're going to go, well, we're going to the courthouse too. We want to pull up some family records. So I may video that. But anyway, look, supper's on. Like I say, this has been, as Robert calls it, my secret weapon cake. Because this was a recipe I never gave out before, because I used it in my cake business. And so, but now I don't use my cake business, and very few people make cakes from scratch any longer. So look, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's been a little long. I do apologize for that, but when you're making a cake and mixing things, it just happens. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. So look, y'all have a great afternoon, and we'll see you on the next video, as some say. Have a good one.